Hey everyone, it's me, Cupie83.
And the reluctant reviewer.
And today we are here with Sasha dolls. So if you're thinking that, you're suffering from deja vu because you've seen a Sasha video on the channel before, you're right, there was a video on Barbee0913's channel about Sasha dolls. We had to fix it, and then of course we couldn't find the raw copy, so it disappeared.
Disappeared into cyberspace.
So we are now doing it again. Recently people have been asking about Sasha, so it is a hot topic, and we definitely have quite a few to show you here.
And we've tried to redo it, but every time we redid it, we were waiting for another Sasha doll to arrive.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like we wanted the whole family.
Exactly. So this is currently the whole Sasha family. So Sasha dolls. This isn't going to be, by the way, like some in-depth history of Sasha dolls. There are plenty of people and websites and books that can tell you every intricate detail of this line, but we will kind of talk about some of the big things.
And we'll give you some names of the books and the websites and people that you can go find and peruse, because there's so much information out there.
Yeah. So where do you want to start?
I guess I'm the one that's got the paper.
You do have paper. I can't read it from all the way over here.
These dolls were made by Sasha Morgenthau. She was born in 1893 in Switzerland. She was the youngest of 4 children. Her dad was from a family that was of aristocracy. He passed away when she was just a little baby. But her mother continued. She liked the life of
luxury?
Luxury, yes. Luxury, party, social gathering kind of thing. Well, let me give you a quote, which was it came from Creative Playthings. It was done in 1970 by Sasha. Her quote was, "In the child's imagination, a doll lives, laughs, cries, and shares his life. For this reason, it is very important that the expression of a doll's face is just suggested. No grotesque caricature can awaken a child's true feelings. A piece of wood barely carved is far superior to a conventional doll with an exaggerated smile."
And you'll see that with these dolls, that they all kind of have a neutral expression to them. None of them are like, "I'm happy," or "I'm sad." They're all kind of neutral. So you can put your own feelings on the doll.
And that's the truth. I mean, I grew up with lots of dolls. I mean, and the smiley faces just can kind of drive you crazy. My collection started with Gregor in the Cubs hat. I got him from a toy store that went out of business. We went in on one of the last days, and he was $17. He came in as canister. He has some damage to his feet because he should have been wearing sandals, and at that time I didn't know anything about what Sasha's came in. But he was wearing his little dark leather shoes without socks, so they must have switched it at the store. And he has some dye residue on there, and I've tried all the little tricks that people have told me, and it's still on there. But that's how I know it's my Sasha. He's a little loosey-goosey in his stringing, so he will be the next one to go away and get restrung. Which I worry about because he's my tiny little boy. He's the shortest of my kids. So I worry about him. But I know he'll be in good hands. He'll go to Florida. The second Sasha is my blonde. She's a sweetie too. She's wearing a new outfit because after 40 years I thought she deserved to have a new outfit. And there are some lovely sellers that actually sell them. The next kids were the babies that came, my brunette and my blonde. And then my big girl brunette, my soccer player, and my corduroy boy. And for about 40 years, those were my dolls. And for about 30 years, it was probably, 30 years, it might have been just these 5 that were mine. But I have a big place in my heart for them. The other dolls, in about a 3-year period, between Cupie and I, her finding such lovely deals as 2 babies for the price of 1, and I get to split the price, I've gotten a few more babies here. And I've got Prince Gregor. I found this guy and one of the babies at the Ken convention. I've gotten various ones from other deals that QP has found for me. And then this little waif at the last doll show that was dirty and her hair is snipped. So she's waiting for a new outfit and she came out nice and clean. So I've added to my family.
So this is my little collection here, from this little redhead all the way to me. So my first two Sasha dolls were Gregor and Caleb. Gregor was a surprise for Christmas a few years ago. I got Caleb that same Christmas, but I kind of knew about him. And it's interesting because both of them are, they're both different, even though they're both Sasha boys. Caleb is shorter than Gregor. So it means they must have been from different years or something like that. What I really like about Caleb is that he's like super dark skin. They've made Caleb in two different kind of skin tones. One is this really dark black skin, and one's more like a warmer chocolatey sort of tone. I prefer the dark skinned. The same thing happened with Cora, the girl, which is why you don't see a Cora here, because every time I see one, it's like that chocolatey, like a lighter skin tone. These guys are pretty awesome. And then, as Barbee0913 referenced, I tend to look for like deals where you can get two for the price of one, or if you can get two and you could split it, then it's like affordable. Because why buy, one when I could get two and then get Barbee0913 to go in for half of it? Like, it makes sense. It's a win-win. So this girl, the Marina girl, she came in a sailor outfit originally. She was part of one of those deals, as well as this baby. He was also one of those deals. So this baby right here is, I believe it's Cara. I got her at a doll show, and it was really affordably priced. She's going off to get restrung though because her arms are kind of loose. And then this one right here is my most recent acquisition. So I'm actually, well, I forgot this one. I did not mean to forget about you. I picked this guy up to reroot him because he came with like a clean head. There was no hair. It was like already like a reroot project that someone had decided not to do. So I picked him up and I was like, I'll try to reroot a Sasha and figure out if I can do that well. But then I tried this wig on him and it looked perfect. And I was like, that's just too cute. So now he's this guy. And he kind of reminds me of like Christopher Robin for some reason. So one day I do want to try to get like a Christopher Robin-esque outfit and like dress him up and find a Winnie the Pooh, and I think that would be super cute. But this is a wig and I think it looks really good on him. So that's my little Sasha family.
So just little snippets of history. So in the area that Sasha was born, apparently the artist Paul Klee also had grown up in that area, and he took interest in her drawings of animals when she was a little girl. Sasha thought her artistic interest received no recognition in her family, but Klee was really supportive of her work. It gave her direction to go to, and Klee apparently had spent many months painting a portrait of Sasha's mother, so she got to see him a whole lot. She was enrolled in high school and she hated it because she was the only girl. So with Paul Klee kind of mediated between Sasha and her mother, and through him she was able to attend the School of Fine Arts in Geneva.
Cool.
And after that she got further painting instruction in Switzerland, in Aschwin, Switzerland, and then she met her husband, who was Ernst Morgenthaler. She also studied sculpture in Munich. Her painting, she didn't think she was that good at. She had really high expectations, so she stopped painting. And she decided to concentrate more on sculpture. She married Ernst. They had 3 children. She stopped painting and let her husband be the painter for 10 years. And she would just make their toys, carved wooden trains. She wasn't happy when she made dolls yet. She just couldn't get it the way she wanted to. So she decided to do something else. She trained as a midwife. She was over 40 years old. She said it was important to have a job, have a profession, have a trade that could be used to make money.
Talk about empowerment, like that's...
She is really good. I mean, all women supporters.
Yeah.
Have a job, support your family. But you're going to tell a little bit about cords.
Yeah, so apparently, Sasha dolls have different colored cords in their body, which can help you kind of date the Sasha. So, for example, there's this, this is a bit of cord that you would find in a Sasha. This is brown cord.
This was his cord.
So from that ginger guy over there, and then there's a little white one here, but this is the brown cord that was originally inside of that Gregor. So if you find yourself with a Sasha that needs to be restrung, or you find one in pieces, take note of that cord color. I'm not exactly sure what years go with what cord. Take note of that cord color because it's kind of important in dating the doll that you have. And the reference books that well, not this exact book, but there are some reference books that have some good material. So this is Sasha Dolls, The History by Anne Vita. This is heavy on history. So if you want to know like everything about like pre-Sasha dolls, the course dolls, the studio dolls, how everything worked within, you know, this line in Sasha Morgenthaler's life and the history of the company, get this book because this is like a treasure trove of information you didn't know you needed to know. So this is a really good book for those who want to know every aspect of the history of the line. As far as identification goes, it's probably not the best for identification, but there are lots of pretty pictures in here that will show you the difference between like course dolls versus studio dolls.
What's a course doll? What's a studio doll?
So apparently, again, not an expert. there are various versions of Sasha dolls that you'll find. There's studio dolls, which came from the early Sasha Morgenthaler's studio. And then there's course dolls, which was like dolls that you would make you'd make them in like a class, right? Mm-hmm. So like the course dolls are ones that you would make under the direction, I'm assuming, of Sasha.
Of Sasha and the people that worked with Sasha.
And you would make your own.
Right, and it was a stuffed doll. You had the head was the regular, what she used on it. And then you practiced painting the eyes and you made it your own. You made a doll. I want one so bad.
Yeah, so then those are the course dolls. And then even Sasha's, they went through different materials. So earlier Sashas were made from a different material, until they found the right one that would make this doll durable and, live up to the standards that Sasha had for the line, which were very high. Like, if you read the Sasha history book, you'll know her standards were very high in terms of quality and what she wanted people to get out of the line. There's also another book called Sasha Dolls, Ciri Identification.
That's the one you want for the cords.
That has the cord information. It's more of like an identification guide, less of a history. So lots of pictures, lots of dates, and how information on how to identify what Sasha you actually have.
And you can look at the eyes because some she would use a mask towards the eyes, and then they would hand paint them afterwards to make them a little bit different. So there's a whole bunch of eye stuff that you want to learn.
There's a lot of differences. Like even like past the eyes, there's some that have a different nose.
Right here.
Some that have a different sort of like lip.
The no filtrum
formation. Like there's lots of little differences that this book will kind of help you get a grasp on, and it's by Susanna E. Lewis,
who has a lovely website.
Yeah, so definitely check that book out.
And definitely go to her website. It's got a lot of information.
These all vary in height, by the way, so you'll see they started at 15.5 inches tall in the very beginning, and then through the course of the molds getting older and older, they grew to 17 inches tall. And even their head shapes change. You'll see this boy has a tiny sort of head, and like this Gregor is a monstrous head when compared to it. So
I like my little head.
So you'll notice a lot of different unique changes between Sasha dolls.
Sasha, when she decided she was making dolls, there was a small department store, so she wanted to make dolls for the Christmas season. And apparently she had first used gypsum. And after Christmas, all these people said, oh my God, the doll broke right away. So she was repairing people's dolls that had bought it from the department store because they got all these complaints. So then she decided she was going to try a rubber head instead. The rubber head really wasn't workable either. It was really hard to paint on and have the paint stick to it. So she went and put them anyway for Christmas, and people complained because they melted. So if you left them somewhere in the sun, your dolls had melted. So then she made her own little stuff, and she added a synthetic resin to the gypsum, and that's what she did on her earlier dolls. Like that would be the studio dolls that she was working with. I mean, these guys are all vinyl. Also in those books, it tells you a lot about the companies that took over making these dolls for Sasha. There's a whole thing, litigation, espionage, I mean, whatever you want to call it. When you think of these, after Sasha died, that people wanted to continue making Sasha dolls, but a lot of it, the people didn't want anybody else to make Sasha dolls because they only wanted it in Sasha's vision, and that was it. I mean, her family did. They only wanted certain things. They wanted simple styles. They wanted just everything the way when Sasha was alive she would say, no, I want suntanned skin tones. She believed that she preferred the hue of healthy children in the sun for her dolls, which is why in the beginning you didn't know if there was a culture to the doll. They all looked the same. They all had the same skin tone.
And I think it took a while for Caleb and Cora to come out.
I think
It wasn't in the beginning.
I think they came with the Doggarts. I mean, she made studio dolls that were darker. She did, because she was. She thought she did a lot of traveling, and she thought that the color was beautiful, and people complained.
Fun fact: the original black Sasha doll was called Chicago Black.
Yeah. Now her son worked in Chicago, so she visited him a lot.
So people didn't really love the name, I take it, from reading this material, and eventually they lost the Chicago bit. Right,
yeah, it was strange, but I think it was because she visited her son a lot, and on campus she just loved to look at people, and she was amazed, and she thought it's wonderful. People are all different, different colors, and that's what she tried to do.
When you look up Sasha, you're going to see a lot of different companies attached to it. You're going to see something like Goats. Goats are, that's the German brand, and those are pretty pricey when you see them. You're also going to see the people that made these guys, which is Trendon, which is
Frito
a UK company.
Trendon.
So it was an English company that was making them.
A lot had to do with the distribution. Creative Playthings handled distribution in the U.S. Apparently, which I thought was really interesting when I actually read the book a second time, was that later in the years when they were doing the Sasha dolls in Marshall Fields, some studio dolls ended up being sold in Marshall Fields. I would have loved to have had money at that time and gone and saw, oh, there's a studio doll. Yeah. I would have picked them up. So it was really kind of weird. She had a really good relationship with the man that distributed in the U.S. And between the Doggarts who handled manufacturing and all the other people, it's really a wild story.
It is. Definitely take a peek at the books and the websites that have the information on the history of who produced these, because it's definitely different and interesting.
Definitely.
But that's why there's so many variations out there. It's because so many people had hands in the manufacturing, I feel like.
Now, before she did dolls, she made mannequins for store windows.
Very cool mannequins.
Very cool. I would love to go and find one. So that's what she started with. And then she illustrated a card game for children, and her children helped her paint in the pages. Mm-hmm. And one of the most interesting things that I found out about her, okay, you have to remember Switzerland, during the war, they're the neutral country. There's war all around them. So at the beginning of World War II, Sasha founded a women's auxiliary corps because 22,000 Jewish refugees had escaped Nazi Germany over the Swiss borders. So she decided she would, she trained 200 women on how to give relief, how to cook food quickly, read maps, send messages, first aid, deliver babies. And then while she was there with all the children going back and forth, she entertained the children and made toys. Frank Gotz, who was a manufacturer of Sasha, said that Sasha took the faces of the children she saw as the basis of her dolls, an innocent child who has long suffered before finding peace and serenity.
He's such an empowering person.
Yes.
It's like, this is someone who I'd like to meet and be like, you're amazing.
Right, in school when you had to find somebody, who do you want to be? I want to be Sasha.
I want to be Sasha, man.
Yeah.
So Caleb has a wrist tag. Here, you'll see it. They were the Trendon series. It says Made in England, and then there's like a pop art sort of graphic that says Sasha. And there was a fun fact about how this little teeny tiny wrist tag was kind of created and what inspired it.
It was created by Max Bill, who was one of the founders of optical illusion. So all those cool kind of photos you see that are optical illusions, he had a history in that. So that, I believe Sasha started it in her studios, and then they continued it with the other lines, the pop-up kind of thing.
Super cool.
Yeah. I do find it kind of ironic because Sasha wanted dolls that were affordable for children to have. Guts? I can't afford one of those, and
they're not affordable anymore.
No, and I think that would make her sad. So $20 would have been an affordable price, but when you see the other prices, they're $100. I mean, what parent can really go out and buy the $100?
Yeah.
It takes something really, really special for you to do that. So I think it's kind of contrary to what Sasha would have liked to have seen in that. The wonderful thing about Sasha dolls are they can balance.
He doesn't want to do it.
He's going to balance. And he's restrung, so let's see. I just wanted to get you there. Okay.
Woo!
Wonderful things about Sasha dolls is if they're strung correctly, they can balance. And they are asymmetrical. So when you look at your Sasha doll, the eyes do not match up. One is a little lower, one is a little higher. Also with the arms and the legs. That's how Sasha believed that this is normal children. You are not the same length and you're not symmetrical.
Yeah, speaking of Caleb, he does not want to stand on his head, so he probably is not strung properly, but that's okay. He's kind of fighting that, like, cockeyed leg syndrome.
Well, because one's a little bit longer than the other.
Yeah.
That's how you can balance them. There are a lot of people who restring Sasha dolls themselves. I can't do it. I never even tried. I don't want to try it. Let somebody else do it. But there are lots of talented people out there who do it. Also, there's another size dolls. Guts makes a toddler doll. So basically, straighten out the legs on the baby, and then you have a toddler size also that you can buy through them. While she was doing the mannequin business, she also decided, you need another way to make some money. So in 1940, she made baby mannequins for parenting classes.
Aww.
And then she still continued making the regular mannequins till 1951 until it just got so much that she was doing that she needed to stop something. So, very interesting lady though.
Yeah, for sure.
Do we know some of the Facebook sites?
So there are some Facebook pages. There's the Sasha Bazaar, which is solely sale posts or, want to buy posts. So if you're looking for Sasha and you want to join that group, that is a good group to be part of. Most of these guys the ones I got off the internet did come from that Sasha group, and everyone's been super nice there. And then there's a Sasha Morgenthaler, I think it's just called Sasha Morgenthaler Dolls. But there is a Facebook page that's just for the discussion of Sasha dolls. And so I'll link to those down in the comment area. And that's also a really friendly place. People post their amazing pictures. There are people and gatherings all over the world. There are people that collect them all over the world. People with closets full of clothing for their Sasha dolls. It's amazing.
There are a lot of Etsy sellers. Just put in Sasha doll clothes and you can find some really nice ones there. And one lady does complete shirt, pants, socks, and shoes. So lovely.
Check those. I'll link to those and you can check them out. Because they are super, super helpful sites.
I'm waiting for 2 dresses that are in the mail coming for these 2 girls that are waiting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, over the years, costumes, things happen, the costuming. I mean, these used to be pretty much taught on there for the soccer player, but now they've gotten really loosey-goosey.
Oh, if you have your Sasha in a stand, you should probably take them off that stand, because apparently this line is not good. Like, if you put a stand on a Sasha doll, it'll make an indentation in their waist. So get that Sasha off that stand.
Also,
they're supposed to stand anyways on their own.
Also, the caving.
Yeah, their neck will cave, apparently. So if you're buying one online, maybe ask about that. I don't think I have any examples of one with a caving neck.
No, or the chest right here.
Yeah, I don't have any examples of that.
There are people that actually you can send your doll to, and they can work with it with the warm water or something, and they can pull it out a little bit so it's not caving. That would just be a problem then with your limbs, and they fix it right up. So there are really great people out there.
So that's just a very quick peek at the history of Sasha and the Sasha dolls that currently reside in our house. So it's a fun line to collect. So if you're a doll collector, definitely look into at least getting one of these. Find the one that you like best and get it for your collection.
But I want a studio doll too.
Yes.
And a horse doll.
Mom wants to check the box for every kind of Sasha
Well,
doll.
no, what I'm looking for in this line is basically the redheaded girl. I want one of those. The ginger.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But one day maybe we'll find an affordable horse doll or a studio doll.
I would love one.
Or a ghost doll.
I saw one that was for $1,000. Yes, from our family to yours. So she will link down to all the different fun little places you can go and look for more Sasha stuff.
Yeah.
And if we forget somebody, I'm sorry. It's just there's so many out there.
Yeah, exactly. And you can share that with us as well, because maybe it's a resource we didn't know about. But let us know what you think of Sasha. Are you a collector? Do you have a favorite amongst the ones on the table? Do you remember seeing these in the stores? Let us know your thoughts on this line in the comment area. That's it.
Yep.
See you
Talk
soon.
to you later.
Bye.